What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So this is the end of week review where I'll go over my 7 trades that I've taken this week and just keep you up to date with what's actually happening on my side. So before we get started, I just want to say thank you for supporting this channel. We've hit over 30,000 subscribers. I appreciate the interactions, and if you just keep coming with the suggestions, then I can continue to make those videos. So let's take a look at what happened this week. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram, you would have seen that I had the worst start to the week ever. I took 3 trades on pound yen, euro New Zealand dollar, and euro CAD. This was taken on Monday. All 3 positions were a split of my 2% risk, and guess what I did? On Monday, I closed out every single trade manually at break even. Now, Monday wasn't the best of days for me. My missus wasn't feeling too good, etc., etc. And I just was staring at the charts. And if I can give you a tip, do not stare at the charts, because my emotional attachment to my trades just became so strong. In the end, I got shaked out by the movement of the candles, and even as an experienced trader as I am, it still affected me, and I closed all 3 at break even. So let's go over those 3 trades and let's see what's happening. Now, you can clearly see here on the pound yen, the market structure is clearly pushing to the upside, right? At this stage, the market's making higher highs, higher lows, and we saw a key level here in the market where price was failing to break last week. Now, eventually, price did break it on Monday, and once price action broke this structure, all I was simply waiting for was for the market to leave this area, come back to this area to show signs of strong bearish pressure to the downside, show a depletion in that bearish pressure, and then look for that trading opportunity. And that's exactly what happened. The market left, made the higher high, came back for the retest, and then as you can see here, this is where I entered the trade. It was a very good entry on this market. Placed my stop loss below the structure. You can see price started to push in my direction almost immediately. And then as it started coming back on me, I got a bit shaked out. Still held the trade, and then the market started to push up. We're really lacking that bullish pressure. Now, I'm making all this up right now because at the time when I was watching this trade, that's what I was thinking. Really and truly, you all know this is how the market moves. So this is not education. This is just me being transparent and letting you know that this is how I was feeling at the time. And I closed the trade. And as you can clearly see, I'm only going for a 1 to 3. So anything beyond that just is what it is. I'll be looking for re-entries if I'm planning to continue trading through the week. But if I'm risking, let's just say £1,000 to gain £3,000, this is a very good risk-reward ratio, especially with the strategy that I'm using. And of course, the longevity of my trading relies on me to have a good risk management in place. Long story short, I closed this trade out, and as you can see, the market, when I closed it, just started pumping to the upside. There was no rest for the wicked here, and it just went literally, and I was so gutted. This was one trade that I closed at break even. Now, just some advice here, as traders, we're going to go through the experiences of being emotional, having psychological barriers that we have to face. Dealing with the ebbs and flows of the market is not going to be easy, and especially if you're watching the market, it's really not going to be easy. And if you've been following my story for the last 3 weeks, did mention about 3 weeks ago when I closed a week around 10.1% in profit. I just set and forget every single trade that I took. Not all of them hit 1 to 3. Some were closed at 1 to 1, some were closed at 1 to 5, but whatever profits came in. Second week, I've done the exact same thing, and I don't know what happened at the start of this week, but I didn't do it, and I just was staring at them. As I said, my missus wasn't too well, babysitting the baby. We don't call it babysitting, he's my son, but I was looking after my son and just had too much time to stare at the charts, and this is what happened on pound yen. Was I screwing? Absolutely. Did it hurt? Absolutely. But you know what? If I allowed this to affect me, then I wouldn't have had the end to the week that I did. So I'm going to go on to speak about that in a minute. With this trade, I actually did close out at a loss. Let me just check for you now. Pull up my statistics. So with this trade, I actually closed out at 0.06% loss. Second trade was Euro New Zealand dollar. This was taken around at the exact same time as pound yen. Set these trades up in the morning. Saw the market was pushing my direction. Was staring at this one also. The market eventually came back and I just closed this trade out at break even again. I got shaked out for staring at it. Now I know I'm gonna get a lot of ridicule for this, and people are gonna start pointing fingers and da. Well, do you know what? I don't really care, to be honest with you. I'm here to make money, and whoever judges, you'll be judged back again in the future by somebody else, and you're not gonna like it. So I just hope you can see this for what it is, as opposed to you be like, you know what, Rox, you're supposed to be this experienced trader. For sure, every trader goes through it, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. I'm just here sharing for those that want to see this. Anyway, on this trade, I closed out a break even, and I actually took a loss on this one as well, minus 0.22%. And as you can see, the market tanked. It could have gone in the other direction, and I could have lost both trades if I held them open. Point of the matter is not that. If you take a trade, it's in line with your directional bias, then guess what? Take the trade, trust the analysis, trust the process, as I always say, and let it play out. But there are times, that this is going to happen, and it just is what it is. So this one got closed out at break even. The third trade was on Euro CAD. Again, I set this trade up around the same time. With this trade here, as you can see, the market started pushing in my direction, was doing really well, started to come back on me. I had just closed out GJ and Euro New Zealand dollar for break even, or whatever you want to call it, just slight minuses. And then I ended up closing this trade out at plus 0.32%. So covered my losses on GJ and Euro New Zealand dollar, but as you can see here, the market went against me. Now, just want to get you into the state of mind that I was in now. I did post this on Instagram and share what had happened. I wanted to take responsibility for what had happened and hold myself accountable. And at this stage, my head was really, all over the place. Just thinking to myself, if I just held this, I would have been up plus 6% on a Monday, doing pretty well for the start of the week, but I didn't. I closed out at a break-even day, you might as well call it, with all the commissions and everything else, or just slightly less. And I just thought to myself, how do I recover these emotions, these feelings? So I just took some time to reflect on these trades in the evening when I went to bed, and I was just thinking about, what could I have done better? How could I have managed this better? Not personally my trades, but just my emotions and psychology at this period of time. Was it a wise day to be trading when I had that much responsibility, or more responsibility that I'm used to during my working day? Should I have stayed away, whatever else? And, all of those things could have been an excuse, which technically they are, if you think about it. And I just said, you know what, Rox, the best thing to have done was just to have taken those trades. You've accepted the 2% risk over the free trades. You probably shouldn't have taken 3 trades at once. I don't know what I was thinking I was doing there. It's not something I normally do. Maybe that was a strong indicator or a factor as to why I was affected. And, just reasoning like that. And I came to a decision, it just is what it is. And we're just going to move on and continue the rest of the week. On the same day, though, I did take a Euro USD trade. Now, you can see from this trade that GJ, Euro New Zealand dollar, and Euro CAD had an effect on me. Look at this trade that I took here. I mean, let's remove this because this doesn't need to be here anymore. But if you take a look at this trade, is this a trade that you really see me taking? We have the break and retest of this structure, which is what I trade. But, the entry on this, the stop loss on this, the target on this, I was very fortunate anyway to take a 4% win on this trade, which really put me back up for the day. But was it necessary for me to take a trade like this? The market is choppy. I always go for a 1-to-1 break-even trade. I don't even have that here. There was a chance that we weren't going to break it. And there was just so much wrong about this trade. And, this ripple effect of closing those other trades out in break-even and then to take this was obviously due to emotions. But, the trade was half decent, but it wasn't a higher probable setup trade. But I did end up winning it anyway. And I managed to bank on this trade 4%. So, the day ended pretty well, but still that didn't cover or didn't get rid of the emotions I was feeling. So we dealt with those when we went to bed. And when we got up in the morning, we were ready to rock and roll again. So I came back to the markets. And as you can see here, I posted this on Instagram also. Let's remove this for a second. This was my Aussie dollar CAD trade, and this was an absolute beauty. As you can see here on this market structure, the structure is up. We've had this really strong pullback in this market. And if you can see around these levels here, I was just waiting in to see what happens with this lower high. Are we going to have this continuation to the downside? Are we going to end up breaking these structures here to make that lower low? And we didn't. So once I saw this, I wanted to get a really good entry. And just for the records, entries like this don't happen often. So, you know, I'm not going to say that this was something that I planned. It was a trade that I did set as a buy limit, and I was fortunate enough to be triggered in where it is. Some might call it a sniper entry, some might call it the perfect entry. I just call it an entry in this market. Now, as you can see on the 15-minute time frame, this was the level that I was monitoring on the hourly time frame. I was waiting for the market to break above this level and close finally, and we did. As you can see, once I saw this, this is where I decided to set my buy limit just on the bodies of these candles here. If you're going to ask me for a reason why, I'm going to tell you I don't know why. But once the price was up here, I think my stop loss range was about 30 pips, I do believe, or just too big at the time. Let's check that from where price was. Yeah, you see here, about 30 pips, something like that, okay? It was much higher, probably 30 pips. Let's move it up to the upside. I don't really care. I know what it was. Something like that, 28 pips, all right? Now, I just said to myself, I just want the market to come back, tap into some of these levels here. And I just said, as long as I have my stop loss below the structure, it should be good to go. And let's get back to the hourly. As you can see with this market structure, I did actually take a really nice win on this trade. Now, I closed partials on this trade, which means that I only banked plus 4%. But I was still up 8% for the week, which was really good for me. Feeling good at this stage. Still disappointed about pound, yen, and euro, New Zealand dollar, euro, CAD. But, you know, we managed to bring ourselves back, get in control of our emotions and psychology, and just take the trade systematically as was. Now, you will say systematically, why did you close partials? Why did you close a trade a little bit early? Again, I was just happy with the profits, guys, on this one. But as you can see, you know, I'm not a perfect trader. I'm still working on my craft, trying to learn how to hold trades for a longer period of time. And as you can see, the market continued up on all the trades that I've taken this week. So it's just for me to work on that, and that's something that I'm going to be doing. But it was a great trade anyway, nonetheless, and we managed to bank 4%. Now, I did take a sell on this. Now, again, you've probably seen me do this last week on GU, I do believe. I took a trade on GU very similar to this, a buy. The market flew to the upside. For some reason, I just wasn't happy that I missed all this move or didn't take advantage of this move. And on GU, I decided to take a sell up here somewhere, right? I've done the exact same thing on this, and I'm not even going to post it. You probably just saw it when we moved over to this chart. But I had a sell up here somewhere with like a 30 pip stop loss, and I went for a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio back down to these levels, just trying to catch another move and capitalize. Now, there was no need for me to take that trade, and I realized what happened last week on GU. There was no reason for me to take that trade. I did manage that trade to break even last week, but this trade, I realized there was no need. So I only risked a very small percentage on this trade. Was it worth it? Probably not, but I just felt I needed to take it, and I actually took a 0.07 loss. So nothing really to write home about. I'm still doing pretty well for the week, plus 8%. Even though we had a very bad start to the week, we managed to start bringing this back with a couple plus 4% trades, which could have been more, but who cares? It just is what it is. And then for my Thursday trade, this is the trade that I have taken today, which is the day that I'm recording it, which you will be watching on a Friday. I don't plan to trade tomorrow, and I don't plan to be doing any content tomorrow, so that's why I'm recording it today. As you can see here, this was just an absolute gorgeous trade. Now, think about this. Just put yourself in my shoes for a minute. You start the week trading GJ, Euro, New Zealand dollar, Euro, CAD. You close every single trade out at break even, and look what happens to the market. Flew up, tanked down. Then you take Euro USD for the sell. Wasn't too good, but you start your week off and you get plus 4. And Aussie dollar CAD, you just get that really beautiful buy limit entry. The market tanks up, you make that 4%. Euro Swiss Franc. Now, yesterday I was thinking to myself, you know what? Let me take the sell. And this is where I was looking for that sell. Now, if you know, or if you've heard on some of my videos, my counter trend trades have given me a pretty low percentage return on my investment. So they haven't been doing as well as my continuation trades. Yesterday, I was pre in this area for a very long period of time, and I was just like, I'm going to take this sell. I'm going to take this sell. Going to take this sell. I even popped it in the RoxFX potential setups channel that I have with my Slack community. And then I think about 20-30 minutes later, I said, you know what? I'm not taking this trade. Slept on it, left it, came back in the morning, saw that, or the evening, saw that the market pushed up, was thankful that I didn't take the trade. Woke up this morning and I just saw that the price action had broken this previous structure and just waited for the market to come back to this level. Saw it come back to this level, and I was just so happy that I didn't take that sell yesterday, and I waited patiently, because now we have a different structure in the market. Trend line's been broken, lower highs been formed, previous structural lows have been broken here. We have a beautiful sell pressure here, nice retest at this level, and now all I'm expecting the market to do is continue this structure, sell by structure to the downside. I was so confident with how well I have done this week, with my patience, my discipline, my recovery from Monday, just reading some articles, just doing some reflecting. And with this trade, I actually just went in with so much confidence. I took a 2% risk. What was my stop loss on this? 9 pips, 10 pips, whatever. Then what I did is I end up taking a second position here. So I pyramided my position. I'm not going to talk about that. If you want to research it, go ahead and research it. But I took a second entry here, moved my stops to break even. Once the price moved again to 10 pips in my direction, I took another position here on this trade. It should look equal, to be honest with you. And then that was it. So I had a 6% running from here, a 4% running from here, and a 2% running from here. I closed the trade out 8% in profit because I did take partials on the way. Just seeing all the blue just moving the way it was moving, seeing my profits and percentage moving the way it was, at this time, the adrenaline was really pumping, my hands were shaking, everything else, because I just thought this is just such a fantastic way to end my week trading. And I just got back into pyramiding again, which is just adding to my position as the market moves while trailing my stops, and that just really maximizes your positions. And the reason why I've done this is because I said to myself, if we're now going to have this continuation to the downside, I'm expecting strong bearish momentum on a 4H candle. Let's take advantage of that move. And if I'm expecting the continuation down to some of these lows before we get a reaction, then we can take advantage of another 4H candle. And as you can see here, this is what happened. So really happy with this trade, and I managed to close this one out plus 8%, which has now given me a 16% win for the week. So just some motivation here. You know, not every single trade this week was a great trade. You saw that the first 3 trades, I closed them at break even. You know, I managed to get my head straight, managed to close a couple 4% trade winners, which was just a boost to my confidence. And then I was very patient with Euro Swiss Franc towards the end of the week, and, you know, was able to capitalize, pyramid my position, and finish the week on that trade at plus 8%, which just took me from 8% in profit this week to 16%. And, you know, I'm just elated. Seriously, I am. Just understand that patience is a major factor in this business. And, you know, no matter how many losses or break-even trades you take, guys, you have to just make sure that you can ride above that, because all it's going to take is one trade. And the more dumb stuff that you do, then unfortunately what's going to happen is you're going to lose confidence in your trading, and you're not going to be able to execute with a clear mind. So just continue to help yourself build the confidence that you need. Just like I did with pound, euro, New Zealand dollar, euro CAD, put myself flat on my bottom. Euro USD was, you know, just is what it is. I got the trade, whatever, 4% profit. Aussie CAD came in with a beautiful buy limit entry here, rid that up, just boosted my confidence just that much more that I needed. Was it necessary to take the sell? Nope. But, you know, managed my risk on that one. And then Euro Swiss Franc, was just so happy that I didn't take the sell here. Saw the market start making the sell structure, wait for the break, retest, and then Bob was your uncle on this one. So, guys, listen, just keep focused, be patient, stay disciplined, and trust the process first and foremost. And trust me, things are going to work out slowly but surely. So, as I always say, if you've enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and until next time, take care.